Around 60 people were evacuated yesterday afternoon as firefighters battled to save their homes in West London. Emergency services were called to Hereford Road in Feltham, where trees, undergrowth and decking were alight at the rear of the properties. London Fire Brigade said crews had worked incredibly hard and managed to stop flames spreading to about 30 houses. Our reporter Greg Mackenzie has been to see some of the damage to people's gardens.
Well, the fire began here on Hereford Road at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. The fire brigade's still here, and as you go down the back of the garden, you can see behind me the field, which is what caught alight and then caught fire to people's fences and ultimately their garden properties. Fortunately, nobody injured. All the residents were evacuated, about 60 in total, and they were placed in a community centre just at the top of the road until about 1:30 this morning. The London Fire Brigade say they are investigating to determine the exact cause of this fire here in Feltham yesterday.
That was Greg Mackenzie, who's been in Feltham this morning, and last night we spoke to one of the residents who was evacuated.
How quick it happened was quite scary. We come down the road, 1 minute it was just up the end, and within 10 minutes it just ripped right the way through all the back gardens.
And what went through your mind?
Get out. It was just crazy. You know, it's the worst bit was there's neighbours down there have been down for like 30 odd years, and seeing them all getting carried out the shop, out their houses and whatever else, it just happened so quickly. It was scary. It was scary.
Emergency services are warning people not to have barbecues, even in their own gardens, as London is set to bake again this week. Around 30 homes were saved yesterday after a fire in Feltham spread over fences, trees and hedges. Temperatures could reach 35 degrees by Friday, and Thames Water is warning that a hosepipe ban across the capital is not out of the question. Callum Watkinson has more.
The extra challenge for firefighters of brush fires in London is that they are never far from someone's house or business. The 3 hours that it took 10 crews to bring this one in Feltham under control were anxious ones for the 60 residents who fled their homes as it approached.
From this house, it was probably about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe to a minute, for all of the grass to be burnt and for the fence to be completely burnt down alongside the rest of that shed as well.
As the Environment Secretary urged all water companies to follow the few that have imposed hosepipe bans, Thames Water was keeping its powder dry on that after an earlier warning a ban could be coming. But in Islington, a burst main wasn't helping and required the attention of London Fire Brigade, which tackled 34 grass fires in 1 week in late July, when 999 calls were double what they were the same time last year.
I've been in the fire brigade for over 26 years, and this year in particular has just been like nothing I've ever seen before. I've been on really large grass fires, but the scale of them. Now, the fire brigade, we coped, we managed to attend every instant, but the pressure on us was huge because it was all across London.
At Hilly Fields in Lewisham, there was plenty of static sun worship going on, but many were inspired to get more active and increase that vital vitamin D. Ukrainian refugee Tanya was feeling right at home.
For us, it's a classical summer because in the winter it's minus 15 and summer plus 35, 40, it's normal.
Yeah, the weather, is very, very hot, it's good to be outside and, just enjoy the weather, get some fresh air.
We're an exercise company that help people with mental health. People definitely staying in and not exercising, but yeah, when you're up here in the park, it's actually quite breezy.
Fun for many, potentially fraught for the fire brigade. It could be 6 degrees hotter than this by Friday, and there is no rain on the horizon. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
Let's talk about the weather. More dry conditions and another heatwave are forecast this week for parts of the UK amid calls for more hosepipe bans. Now, yesterday, the Environment Secretary at Westminster urged water companies to follow the bans already in place. Now, we're talking about restrictions for southern water customers in much of Hampshire and the Isle of Wight. They came into force last Friday. About 1 million southeast water customers, they're in Kent and then in Sussex, they'll be facing measures from this Friday. Welsh Water, well, they've announced a ban covering Pembrokeshire there in the far west and a little bit of Carmarthenshire next door. That starts on August the 19th. And other water companies across the UK say they're monitoring water levels very, very closely. Let's join our correspondent Ellie Price, who's at a reservoir in Kent. Ellie?
Thanks, Hugh. Well, here at Buell Water, if the reservoir were at full capacity, the water would be above my head. Now, they put this post in 3 weeks ago and it was standing in 2 feet of water. The capacity now is less than 60%, and bearing in mind it's 30 metres deep in the middle. Now, this is a reservoir that provides customers of South East, and those are the people, as you say, who are going to face that hosepipe ban from Friday onwards. The big question is, are the other water companies likely to follow suit anytime soon? I think the quick answer to that is no, not yet. We spoke to a number of the big water companies in the south of England who say they have no plans, but obviously they urge their customers to be careful. It's largely because they draw their reserves from groundwater, which they say, broadly speaking, are resources that are holding up. We've been speaking to people here today about whether they mind the hosepipe ban that they're facing, and they say that they're willing to do their bit, but I think there is some anger at the perceived wastage of water, and in fact these were the scenes in Islington in North London earlier when a water main burst, causing local destruction and some local flooding. Now, there is likely to be more demand on our water over the coming days because there's going to be another heat wave, and in fact there's been another heat health warning issued from lunchtime tomorrow until Saturday, which is because those temperatures are likely to remain in the 30s. Still no sign of any rain.